The ringer on my phone has been perpetually off because of the movies. So I just wanted to make sure it's been off still. Okay, it is 6:00 and we will call the meeting of the Historic Preservation and Architectural Review Board of the Village of Cooperstown to order. Do we have folks here for 44 Beaver Street, item number 1? Come on up, Dan.
Should I pull it over?
The problem we're having is the mic, so you stand up to the mic, sorry, and then we'll do karaoke.
It'll sound really good set.
We'll see how you feel after the meeting. Okay, so tell us about the project at 44 Beaver
The
Street.
project on 44 Peter Street is Meredith would like to replace her front door, which is a 1950 style steel door on the front of her house with a current 3/4 inch glass door to allow more light into the living room. You have the specs in front of you with everything that's proposed. The door is made out of fiberglass, however, it is fully paintable, standable. You do amazing things with these new doors that you come out with. She looked around at a lot of different styles and she is very adequate. This is the style that she would like and it will look good on her house.
Okay,
It's directly across the street from the Bassett Building Center.
yep,
And there is a storm door,
Yes, there is.
and that will
Yep,
remain.
that will remain on there, correct, yes.
and is the storm door also, just out of curiosity, and we don't weigh in on storm doors, that's like a 3/4 or a 1/3 or 1/4 kind of panel as well,
If I
right?
remember, it's been a few days since I've been over
Yeah.
there, but I want to say that was almost glass the entire length,
Okay,
top to bottom.
I just wondered, thank you.
It's a full glass storm door in front of the house. So behind it, you're going to see the 3/4, so there's going to be a little bit of breakup, but
That's,
it's going to make it so someone can't come up and knock on your door and see directly into your living room, which is a big thing.
anybody have any questions for Dan regarding the proposal?
I do. Only because I just got this. So it seems like there's a couple different doors spec'd in this little packet.
The other door spec was from a different project that I'm working on.
No, like right here, this stuff.
The door that you'll be looking at is the upper door, which is a 3/4 glass.
So it's this door,
Do you mind if I step forward to look?
come on over. The first one,
Yes, correctly. The door on
Okay.
top.
so we can remove the other one from the packet, which is more like a two, a
That's a
third.
top door, yes.
Yeah.
You can, I'm sorry.
We don't need that. We just want
Okay.
this one. Okay.
So we're dealing with 36 by 80, S80, LH1, 4 3/4 frame saver.
Yes, 100% correct.
Okay, and thank you for catching that, Aaron. Any other questions?
Do you know when the existing door was put on? You mentioned a 1950 style, but
It was, I believe it's the original door to the house. I believe that house was built in the 50s, early 60s, I believe. I believe it's original to the house.
New one's probably gonna be more energy efficient.
100%, yes. I think we might actually beat it with this winter that's coming at us.
Yeah, Fast and
Okay.
Furious. Okay, anybody else? If not, would somebody like to make a motion?
I'd be happy to make a motion.
Thanks, Barry.
I propose that HPARB grant a certificate of appropriateness to the project at 44 Beaver Street based on 2C, 3A, 3D, and 5.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, Liz votes yes.
Aaron, yes.
David, yes.
Kurt, yes. Kid, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Have a good night, everyone.
Prepare your song.
That was stand-up comedy.
Oh, either or. Okay.
Susie.
Give us an hour or so, right? Okay, 101 Main Street. Patrick, you're on for the next 3 acts.
Okay.
You need 3 songs.
Okay. I don't have any songs, but I do have one for you.
Excellent, perfect.
Tonight, I was planning to go to the Sing Pony Show tonight, but it was canceled. He was a little hoarse.
Oh. Okay.
So-
Thank you.
So some fences. I will be representing James Clark, the Scribner Foundation and the Clark Foundation. Doesn't make a difference for the committee. Did you say 101 Main?
It's the first on the agenda, so
Sure,
if you
okay.
want to do that one first, it would probably be simplest unless there's a reason to do them in a different order.
So, so they're all pretty similar. There are some differences, but the Scribner Foundation project, really, it's a safety issue. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to walk around the back of the farmer's market building there. There's a very narrow driveway and there's a drop off into Willow Brook. And there is a chain link fence. You have to kind of look because the chain link fence is going to pulled down into the brook by just neglect and overgrowth and getting smushed into over time. So we'd like to replace that. I looked around the village for fences that would be appropriate, enough of a barrier to stop a vehicle, but also high enough to hopefully hold a person in and perhaps even remove the temptation of young people to walk on top of it. So what the style of fence that we looked at, you've seen it on Spring Street, you've seen it on Chestnut Street, Rock Street, 8x8 posts, 4x8 rails, pressure treated lumber. In this case, what we have proposed would be a 3 rail instead of a 2 rail, which is what the village has installed at various locations. So a 3rd rail with a total height of about 45 inches. And this would be in an L shape over the culvert and then down along the side of the brook, in between the 101 main property and Hellman's laundromat there. Since it gets very close to possibly even one post would be on his property, I just received from Hellman today, and I'm happy to share this with you, his letter. He'd be very excited to have this fence replaced with what's there.
You don't want to lose any vendors for the farmer's market either.
No.
Or children, or wagons, or.
Does anybody have any questions for Patrick about this proposed fence at 101 Main?
I think it's great. That was a problem, been a problem for years.
And I think the construction is definitely going to do the trick with what you want to prevent from happening. Okay. If there are not any questions, would somebody like to make a motion regarding the proposed fence at 101 Main Street?
Yeah.
Bernie?
I propose that HPAR provide a certificate of appropriateness for the project at 101 Main based on 5 safety.
Second.
Any discussion?
A second.
Aaron
I
already did. She beat you to the punch.
Third.
Finally gonna.
She's gonna get a check instead of you now, Dave. Check mark on paper. Liz votes yes.
David, yes. Bernie, yes.
Aaron, yes.
Kip, yes.
Okay. Did you get Yes. Okay. Thank you. Now would you like to tell us about the next fence?
Absolutely, and what is the next one on the agenda?
We have 41 River Street. I'm sorry.
Okay, and so, this fence, total of 54 feet is proposed, and this would be exactly the same as what you've seen in the village, it's only 2 rails. And there's just quite a steep drop off the bluff there by the edge of the driveway, and the idea is vehicular safety, it's set quite far back from River Street. And, yep, same materials, same construction, happy to answer any questions.
Can't even make a joke about good fences making good neighbors in this case, just good fences contain the neighbors.
People from driving into the river.
Yeah.
Prevent vehicles from hurting the beaver that lives down there.
Somebody recently have an accident involving over the edge of a,
Or just a bad dream.
or just a bad trade, yes. Somebody recently that made this, the current.
No, the other 2 projects, we have proposed to budget for next year. And then, when I was discussing with Ms. Clark, I said, actually, I have long worried about this spot on the property of River Street, and, could we do the 2-rail version there? So that's bundled them all together, and, figured we could knock this out in one unit so you could consider them.
No, makes sense. And I think, I don't have any questions. Anybody? Okay, we've got the motion, the second, the discussion. Liz votes yes.
We didn't motion
I
it.
thought we motioned.
No.
Sorry. Okay.
I can motion that one.
Thanks.
I move that HPAR provide a certificate of appropriateness for the project at 41 River Street based on criteria 5, safety.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Awesome. Not going to be yellow though, right?
No.
That's a silly question. I'm kidding because it's in the picture. Okay.
Yeah,
This is what happens when you postpone the meeting for a week. We all come in a little silly. Okay. No other discussion? Liz votes yes.
Aaron, yes.
David, yes. Bernie, yes. Kip, yes.
Thank you. Okay,
And the red lot.
the one that's left.
Yep. So very similar situation, as 101 Main, the driveway, the red lot, or the asphalt at red lot goes all the way up to the edge of the hill. We would just like to have something there that is both a visual indicator that you have reached the end of the parking lot, as well as a barrier that would be enough to slow down the vehicle and definitely prevent a pedestrian or cyclist or whatever person from slipping off the edge of the slope.
Drive through hospital supplies, that is not the plan, huh?
If you drove fast enough, I'm sure you could land on top of the building. I don't know. If
Airmail.
Yeah, down from the top, from the roof into the logistics building. I don't
Yeah, you don't want to know.
know. No, we'd rather not find out.
Okay, any questions about the proposed fence at the red lot between Main and Rock Street, at Main and Rock Street?
Be happy to.
Go for it.
I propose that HPAR provide a certificate of appropriateness for the red lot based on 5.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Nope. Okay, Liz votes yes.
Aaron, yes.
David, yes. Bernie, yes. Kip, yes.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you all so
Catherine.
much.
Thanks for the
Stick
show.
around because there's other stuff, Elias.
I know.
Okay, so, we have an application for 136 Main Street. Anybody here regarding 136 and a half Main Street?
No, you're not here for 136.5 Main, right? Okay.
Okay,
No, because I know that,
She's
because the
right.
applicant told me
Thank you.
early on that she wasn't going to be able to make it.
Okay.
And we were trying to get all the info we needed to go forward without her, so.
So Chris, do you feel like you have enough of a handle on the proposed siding?
I do, the siding, it's the T111 siding.
Okay,
It's noted down there. I missed it at first. And yes, that's a sort of a known product.
yes. I just hadn't seen that, so I didn't think we had a good sense of it.
Where does it say that?
It doesn't. Chris,
The siding? No, it's here. It's in the drawing down there.
Okay,
It's sort of,
Oh,
yeah, it's sort of tucked away.
Okay, got it.
right, because you look at the captions and then you miss,
What does it cover on the front of the building? There are two windows and a door.
That's what I wrote the applicant asking, hopefully to get clear information about how it is. Is the door centered on the door or is it centered? And the information I got back was that it was centered between the windows.
and it looks like what we're getting a picture of is where the door is. So if the structure is not centered, the door is going to be offset to the left in this drawing. So it's not going to be straight through.
But it has to cover one of the windows.
That was my interpretation also.
Mhm.
If it's going 8 feet.
If it's 8 feet. yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah, it looks like it's too wide to fit in between the windows.
I also don't think that you can have a 34-inch entrance door to
Because
a
of
commercial building.
Right, fire
accessibility.
egress.
Right.
The county will not allow that.
Also, three-dimensional structures have 3 dimensions. Which is bizarre, I know, but this only has 2.
Mhm.
And Chris, I guess, while we're asking questions about this application, does the applicant have the zoning capacity to come that far out on the sidewalk? Is that part
Yeah,
of the property? or-
Unlike the tight sidewalk regions that we have on like Pine Boulevard where we run into traffic problems, they have enough space to permit traffic.
Okay,
Here.
so that space between the actual sidewalk and the building is theirs for the,
Which is why I asked for clarification of like a drawing that would show this in context. Because I'm assuming that it's
Footprint of
4
it.
by 8 flat against the building. There's no
right.
I mean, of course it isn't, but we are,
So we have to have a door that meets code.
mhm.
I suppose the code officer is gonna wanna know which way the door swings, which I'm assuming is out, but somebody's gonna wanna know that.
Mhm.
Unless the door is on the side and not street facing, how does that 8 feet fit between the door and the windows? We need to know that there's that space there, if that's what they're saying.
I also asked about the roof material and if there was,
They say the roof was gonna be metal.
I was just looking for a profile.
Yeah,
Often if it's standing seam, is it Texas rib, whatever, and I don't have the information on that.
how is the roof, and I'm curious, we have the side view of the pitch, I'm assuming the pitch is toward the street?
Can we have one discussion?
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, but they can't, it's hard to hear the microphone stuff.
Which dimension did you say was missing?
Aaron, do you wanna,
Oh, yeah, so it says 4 by 8, but the dimensions aren't labeled. And I do see that it does say 90 inches tall, so never mind, it does have 3 dimensions.
it's,
That's what there's a lot of information there. It's just to sort of pull it out of the presentation.
I'm sorry, am I just completely confused? They're saying it's a 4-foot wide structure jutting straight out from the door in the center of the facade, and the doorway to the structure is on the side of the structure, not
That's
the
what I'm
front?
trying to figure out.
Like, yeah,
It's hard to tell because
Yeah.
it's hard to tell, is it 8 feet wide and 4 feet deep?
Yeah.
Or is it 4 feet wide and 8 feet deep? Because as Gib very clearly pointed out, there's probably not 8 feet between those windows if this photograph is at all accurate.
right.
So we need clarification
This is
on
not the side.
that.
Well, maybe when they say it's center between the windows, it doesn't mean that it doesn't necessarily obstruct some of the window. But that was the way I took it.
Either
Well,
way,
it's
it's not clear.
In between the front windows of the diner. So I take that as it's not covering, but we do need to see how this is going to be imposed on the building. We need to understand that.
Right.
And I think the issue with the door width is a very big one. And I think it's really important to understand exactly how long they plan to have it up, because this needs to be temporary
Right.
in its appearance is strictly utilitarian for the winter season.
A suggestion might be to have it temporary on the same schedule as no street parking,
Mhm.
since that is an existing marker of winter and spring.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay, I will tell the applicant about all of these things.
Liz,
yes.
on the subject of how long it's staying up, is this a repeat act? And will we have, after we see how it actually would function this year, will we be able to put the comment on it or potentially
Could
say?
approve it as a very temporary structure, like for this season to be determined in the future. Trying to think, so there is the structure that goes on the front of the Otasaga. That's a temporary structure that I think we've reviewed and approved. I know in the past, there have been a few homes that have put up more kind of architecturally sensitive structures, but I'm not even sure whether they're happening consistently in terms of the ones I'm thinking of at this point, because it's probably been a while since I've seen one go up.
Did the summertime temporary restaurant on the side of the Wax Museum Bank Building get approved by this board?
Yes, we have reviewed elements of that, as have other boards.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
I'm wondering really what they need is something, just as long as there's two, you could fit two doors in a tube like at the Lakefront Hotel restaurant. Their ante room is just a door and then close that door and you get to the next door and that.
And is that a seasonal?
No, I'm just saying that in terms of what they're trying to accomplish, which I guess is keeping the flapjacks warm with the
Yeah.
pickles near
Yeah,
the,
the coffee one.
the coffee one, that it could be perhaps less big. I don't know if they're thinking hat check to the right if it's.
Cigarette
It's
brown.
not a bad idea, probably coats in the winter take up half the space in the restaurant.
There used to be a lot of them. and
Yeah, yeah,
They were
there
called
were.
kissing booths.
Thank you. I did not know that, Gib, thank you. So the 136.5 Main Street kissing booth.
Were they more, how did you put it, more?
Architecturally
Architecturally sensitive?
or
or-
aesthetically, I mean, I think,
Sort of, they were made out of wood.
I think it depends
And they
on the
had hooks,
house.
And they hooked
Yeah,
onto the wall of the house. They weren't attached to the wall of the house.
I know we house sat at a house that had that structure. And
Yeah.
it was very
cut off the draft. Just
But it was very architecturally sensitive too. This, especially for a prominent location, does not feel very sensitive architecturally. So-
Although in keeping with the look of the restaurant as being something less than upscale, perhaps that would be
And,
not such a bad thing.
you know, I think considering it as a temporary structure and revisiting it again next year, any proposed changes they may want to make too, but they do have to meet some codes and accessibility standards for sure. So this, if they want to, you know, certainly there's an HPAR element to this, but what's being proposed, they should definitely think about within the process, because clearly they weren't thinking about it with respect to codes.
Right.
with That door
County
size.
codes,
So
building
the
codes.
framing and other elements of it should, before it comes back, be really,
Right, the county will have to address it.
yeah,
We can't
yeah. But so we're not in December approving or rejecting something and then they're going to codes and finding out they can't do it and then it's January before they're getting
Understood.
there.
In specific, they're labeling the bottom image as the front view. Is it the front view as we normally think of it from the street, or is it the front view as we think of it from entering the thing? That front view is really throwing me off.
And if the door is on the side of the structure, which side is it on?
Mhm.
Right, my guess is that this is what it will look like when you stare at it from the front, but
Yeah.
it's still a
Right.
guess. We don't have,
I'm just
Certainty.
not sure where that 8 feet is coming from if they're between the windows. Should we take a walk? Kidding.
I reject that idea.
I'm kidding. So please ask the applicant, and luckily they only have 3 weeks instead of 4. Let's rush to turn this around if they want us to look at it in December.
And I'd be curious as to what that extra space is for, if it is the side view. Or even the front view.
The extra space.
Well, just, they've got the door and then they've got a lot of space off to the side, like why does, I'm
Right.
assuming it is for coats and so forth, but I'd be interested.
Or people lining up.
There you go.
Right.
Crowded in there and.
Well, yeah, it's true.
Extra
It's a-
space.
And I think about the way
Hotspot.
that the other door may swing out and stuff. Maybe it's to
I think
accommodate
that door goes in.
Does it go in?
I think that the temporary structure door would also have to go in, right?
And
I don't know, that's a
I
code.
don't know,
And
that's the county
that's a
codes will have to.
question as well, I think,
Right.
because
But I'm sure you're right about the 36-inch front door. All egress doors have to be,
and do all egress doors, unless they're existing and grandfathered, have to swing out?
I would think that.
that's, I'm going to say, let's let the county tell us.
Yes.
That's their
But I think
department.
it's a good
I don't want to
question
speak for
for
them.
the county as well. So, that's not within our purview, but certainly if they wanted to work.
Right.
They should really get on that. Okay. But when they come back, I would like to see actual measurements.
Right.
Realistic measurements of the windows, the door, the front facade, and how this realistically fits into the front facade.
Mhm.
So I think that's a fair request.
Right.
And if it's going to attach to the building, how is that happening? And if
Right.
it's not going to attach to the building,
is
how
it-
will it be secured?
And also, I'll make sure that the documents have the same measurements that the text has, where it says
Right.
34-inch door, but also
36, yeah.
there's a 36-inch elsewhere, so I see these discrepancies.
And is the pitch of the roof? And the pitch of the metal roof over the door?
Right, does it pitch back toward the building, or?
No, I can't
No.
imagine
No.
that, but,
Would make you
Really
think
not.
it's side, the entrance is on the side. and it pitches.
right, and the safety issues about a metal roof full of snow pitched over a door, slamming door. Just-
What's TI 11 sign?
T11 siding is like looks like paneling, except it's siding. I mean, I know that's kind of crass, but it's like a sheet of plywood with
grooves in it?
with grooves in it. Okay, it's very, pardon me? The grooves aren't that
Has a
close.
separate bead. This is just
Yeah.
a little
Grooves,
inset groove.
and they may or may not be evenly spaced.
Yeah, you have this
There.
kind of stuff. Just a piece of plywood with, they route out little channels to look like planks.
It's,
So they'd have to have corner boards of some kind.
right, so we do need to know how the corners are gonna be treated. Is there going to be some kind of molding mounting the corner?
I know in sheds, they use a metal, just a little metal angle molding that
Mm-hmm.
they slap on there.
You know, I think about any kind of fenestration to let light in other than that doorway too. It's still a,
Yeah, if it's a temporary structure, it's probably not gonna have electric. So how, do they want another window so people can see or no?
Well, the door has a window, I guess.
Okay.
That's enough.
it's
They're not
self-facing.
open at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There will be kissing in
It
there.
might be dark.
It's dark.
Mhm. They open. There is a light on the building, but how will it fit into the space and will the light be? We need a lot of answers. There are a lot of safety issues that are even outside of our purview that would come to mind.
But I support the idea of them saving energy by putting up a temporary structure.
And it looks like there's, to the right side window, there's something between the window box and the doorway. I'm not sure if it's a mailbox. I'm assuming that will get moved in the process, but things like that have to be addressed.
There might be a light on.
There's a light on to the left of the front door, yeah. So,
Would we entertain the idea of a hook? I think that's kind of brilliant.
of a what?
Oh, hooks, as it was.
Yeah, the hooks would make sense, although because this is a masonry structure, I'm not sure, again, whether hooks would be feasible.
Safety
Sure,
issue
you
in
can
itself.
have to drill the,
So,
you have to drill the eye into the masonry, but you
Right.
just have the hook on there.
okay,
And then maybe covered up with something.
yeah, for the sake of the structure,
Instead of
definitely.
pointing down.
Yeah, that is their mailbox. Next to the door.
Okay, Chris, have we given you enough information?
Sure have.
Does anybody else have anything to add? Okay. All right,
Well, maybe just give them the heads up that we are talking about only approving. If we do approve it, we're only talking about approving it and then potentially reapproving it again. Just so that they don't think that they're out of the woods. If they do get approved for this year, we might in the future say, we'll see how it goes and then reapprove it, sort of make it more permanent.
yeah,
The approval.
well, and it won't be permanent no matter what.
Right,
Mhm.
But we're acknowledging that this is an experiment. You know, we applaud the attempt to improve their energy efficiency, but temporary is going to be one season
To start.
to start. Okay. Anybody have anything else to tell Chris about this? So, we have 213 Main Street has been added to the agenda. Would you like to come up and talk to us about the project?
What we had is, this gentleman and his wife bought the house up right across the street from Bruce Hall, so it's a cinder block house. We were
Rock
hired.
face block house,
What's that?
rock face block,
Yeah, the old cinders, they were made at the railroad.
I know.
And I replaced 12 of these But anyhow, it doesn't matter. We were hired to fix and repair. And the way the house was built, which some of them were built this way, some weren't, it carried right up to the roof. Okay, so as we started to pull the bottom out, we were hoping we could hold it to the top, get the new wall underneath it and support the concrete. Unfortunately, the block was in such horrendous shape that it became a safety issue. There was no way to do it. So we took the sidewall down. At that point, I went back to the county, I explained to them, they said, fine, it's up to the village. I had talked to this gentleman and to do the original foundation, keep it in kind, we were all set. Now we've gotten to the point that, you know, it wasn't by choice, but we have to replace what's there.
You didn't come to the village before you took the wall down. You didn't like shore up the wall and come to the village though before that wall came down.
The wall was coming down, and there was no, we shored it up, and I'm not gonna leave a 10-foot, 12-foot wall, concrete to neighbors only from 10 feet away. You know, if something happened, that wall tipped over on a neighbor, tipped over on a kid, tipped over on a gawker. You know, there was lots of gawkers up there. It was in our best interest to get rid of the wall. As prior talked to the county, they said, yes, it's a safety issue, get rid of it. So being that, we have to come up with an idea of how to replace this wall.
With rock face block?
No, on the other side of the house, that wall was replaced about 12 years ago.
Is it the wall or is that just siding over the rock face block wall on the other side?
It's a brand new wall. The same thing happened over there. I didn't do the job, but I can remember when it happened.
Chris, do we have the file? Was that approved by HPAR?
I can take-
Pardon?
I could take a look at it.
Yeah, if you want to take a look at that. Because I've been on the board for 13 years and I don't remember.
I believe it was before 13. It's older than that. It's back when Cornell's were selling the house. So, or still own the house. But it's got a new forward wall, which is what we're doing. And then they went up with wood studs. And then they put they're kind of an asphalty looking shingle on it. Wooden.
It's
And
a,
they did half the house and what the other half, split face.
I mean, it's no surprise when you dig out the basement wall that without supporting that wall, gravity's gonna happen.
Oh, we had to support it, man. That's what I do for a living. I've done more
I
foundation.
mean, I saw the cribbing underneath the house, but I never,
It's cribbed up inside, but that house is not built like a typical house. The block, the floor joists on the first floor,
I understand.
Inside.
I live in a similar house. I know how it's
Inside the block.
constructed.
and then, but when, they're not all except built that way. And when you get to the top, the floor joists for what little bit of attic there is, rest on that. And then the roof rafters, there was another 2 courses of block that went up to held the roof rafter. So as we supported that wall, which we did, or some.
The foundation wall, because I was
We've got
watching them work.
We've got both walls supported. There's another wall built inside the wall that's on the exterior of the house. So we went right underneath the floor joists, built a similar wall to the outside to hold the floor joists up, to protect the rest of the structure. And we went ahead and studded up the other wall for extra safety and trying to get so we can close it in with plastic so that it was somewhat weathertight.
But the original wall wasn't really supported in the process. The wall that you're saying came down or had to come down.
It has come down.
Right.
Right, there was no support in that wall. It came down, gravity took care of that.
But as you were doing the work, the foundation work, you didn't go in and build supports under that original.
There was
exterior
no
wall.
supports. It was one wall went right in the floor in the basement, right to the roof.
So it was gonna come down.
Yes, ma'am.
So there was no effort to maintain that.
There, I don't know, you got me there. There's no physical way you can do it the way it was built safely to maintain that wall.
I've seen it done and I've seen foundations poured to support it.
So I guess the question is, if there was no way to safely maintain the wall, why did you start the project?
Because the wall is an exterior wall.
But we were repairing the basement wall, okay? It was all one. I did Buzzies over here on Chestnut Street 10 years ago. You know, the whole side of the house fell off, literally fell off. But it was built different in the basement where you could get in there to hold it. All right? I mean, there's certain things that you just can't do. And, I mean, it's all fine and dandy to say, why didn't you support that? I guess maybe you know, if you've been there, maybe we could have got another idea, but this isn't the type of thing that you dilly-dally around with. I've done more foundation under house than anybody in Central New York. We've done 250 of them. You know, so it's not my first rodeo. And I certainly wouldn't have had no anticipation of going this far so that we would get involved in this. But the fact of the matter is, we are at this point. This gentleman and his wife own the house. We've got to get it closed up when it's coming. He's open to suggestions. The damage is done. We're not here. He gave you some issues, what they'd like to see. What they'd really like to see is zip board put up, the windows approved, so that he can go ahead and start finishing inside and they can live in there at the present time they're renting. You know, what happened, unfortunately. And unfortunately for them, they have to pay for it.
Can you
This is
pass
the
that
siding material that should be passed around.
So, are you aware that this property is in a historic district and that this board oversees all changes, so all structures?
That's why I'm here.
But,
I
right,
mean,
you're,
we came, before we started this project, we met with this gentleman,
About a different project, though, about
Yeah,
a
exactly.
basement repair.
but this is what parlayed into it. I mean,
Right.
we didn't certainly go in there and try and pull wool over eyes, knocking that wall down. That's not the intent.
Sure.
The
Just,
intent was to salvage the basement.
just so you know, just at the moment it changes, I get that it changed, but when it does change, and then you're going to be changing the facade of the building, at that point then,
But
you
have
can't
to-
just say it changed, like you
have
chose to change
secure the
it.
building.
Sure,
If it was your building, you want it secured. If it was your building, you'd want
Right.
it secured at that point.
but you,
We went to there and we stopped. We put it up.
but you also framed out windows with a different
It doesn't
design.
matter. We can take that
It
out.
does matter.
No, it doesn't. They're not permanent. We're hoping they're permanent, but it was our choice to frame.
Right, it matters that if you make a design change and frame out new window openings that are different from what existed, you need to come to this board
Well, that's why we're here. We didn't.
before you do the work,
What's that?
before you do the work, before you,
Well, I guess I could have just started it up and left them. That's my choice. Maybe that's how I wanted to stuff it up. I mean, I'm not trying to be a wise guy here. Those windows, if you say, no, you can't put those windows in, hey, we're fine with that. We'll restud it however it makes sense.
Right.
But while I was studying it, if these happen to pass, well, we're one step ahead. If you say, no, Tom, you know, this isn't what we want, let's talk it, figure out what you want. We're just here to solve this problem. It's very unfortunate it happened. Nobody knew it was gonna happen. This gentleman certainly didn't want it to happen. He put another $20,000 in the house for better. The house would still be vacant if they hadn't bought it. There was a stipulation in the purchase that the foundation had to be repaired. So, I don't know, you know, what other defense you want. That's my defense.
it's not a defense, I just want, make sure that you understand that
We just
that in the
want- we
future,
want-
in the future, I'm speaking, in the future,
Yeah, well,
when you have a project and it changes, you have to come at that moment and get approval, and you can't go around saying, well, I talked to this guy, because then I write, excuse me, I write the county. When you tell me I'm doing, then I spend time, I tell them,
I didn't say.
and then it all changes, and on my day off, I have to come in and spend my
That's fine,
time
but that's not what I'm
doing
saying.
this.
Listen,
So,
we came to you for the original project,
right.
correct?
Yeah, which is not
Okay,
the
so it's
project.
fine. So if nothing had gone astray, I wouldn't be here right now. But it didn't change on I didn't cause it to change.
Who did?
God, it fell down. Well, I mean, you laugh.
I know Jesus was a carpenter, sir, but you were the carpenter who knocked down that wall. You can't say God did that. I just want you to take some responsibility for what happened. That's all I'm
I
asking
I
for.
take all the responsibility.
Then do.
Shoot me. I'm here with this gentleman to solve the problem. You guys have to solve the problem. That's what you're here for. We can make ideas, we can make suggestions, but
Have you looked into sources for rock face block?
no, I haven't. I have
Because
not.
that's the material that was taken out, that's the material that should be returned.
Okay, I can get split face block. They may not be exactly the same. You know, they'll, because those are 50, 60-year-old, well, more than that, 80-year-old.
They're probably 110-year-old.
Yeah, well, whatever, 110. So, but you understand that, you know, we'll give it our best shot to find something like that. That's fine. We just want direction here
I
and
mean,
approval.
you have to understand our frustration, Chris's frustration, my frustration, because it's pretty obvious when you remove a foundation from a block wall that gravity is going to happen if it's not shored up and if it's not done incrementally and supported as the project goes on. So it was pretty obvious from, I walk by that place every day. I am calling Chris and saying, this is going to be a problem.
I guess, let me just say one word, okay? You're probably right. All right, and I'm not arguing that what happened or what didn't happen, okay? But I guess I took it upon myself, I looked at the other side of the house, it was rebuilt the same way, so I really didn't think in my mind that, you know, getting rid of those blocks for a safety issue and stud framing it up when the other side of the house was totally different than this side, and that side originally looked like this side. So I guess, yes, that's my doings. I did that, okay? Now, if you want split face block laid up, we'll lay them up. But they're not gonna look like the other side of the house, which is, say, 15 years old. Which whether it was approved, wasn't approved, I don't know.
And so there are certain things that were not approved because they could have happened before this board existed.
Exactly.
But the goal of this board and the role of this board is to maintain original fabric.
Yep. I agree.
So,
That's fine.
so a whole quarter of that house of original fabric has been lost when the other original fabric was already lost. It's not about matching what was done. It was, hey, this is still original. This is still how the house was built 110 years ago. And this is why it's significant to maintain that.
That's fine. So would you like me to find as close a block as I can bring?
So you didn't maintain the block that was there?
I did what?
You didn't save the block
There's
that,
nothing, that's cinder block. If you know cinder block, it just turns to mush. It's, if you throw cinder block in a bucket of water, it disintegrates. And that's a fact. So, there was no salvaging anything. They just crumble. You know, if you'd like to take a walk up and look at it, I'd be glad. And I'm open to any suggestion you got. The problem is done, now it has to be fixed.
so did you take it upon yourself to frame it that way, or is that the way the property owner wanted it framed with the windows?
No, I framed it that way. That was me. I just framed the windows in. He has nothing to do with that. I was shoring up the roof. I took it upon myself that, hey, I'm gonna box out a window. If it doesn't fly, we'll rebox it. It's not the finished product. It can be changed.
Well, does the property owner have a proposal for how they would like the fenestration to appear on that side of the house?
Yes, you've got all the information.
So it's framed the way the property owner wants it?
Yeah, yeah, it is. I mean, I just didn't go, I discussed it with him. I just didn't all of a sudden do it. I mean, I said, look, this is, and,
Tom, is there more block that's disintegrating in the
Yeah.
basement? Does it look like they're gonna have to, because I'm just trying to think in
there's
terms of,
not much footprint.
oh, you got most of the old, all that blocked out?
Like I said, it's gone there, there's just around the corner, they're completely shot. Then back to the porch, there's a porch on the front, around on that corner. Right here, they're gone. And they're literally gone. Somebody did a real tile fix here. You stick your hand right through them. They're all hollow. It's just the face, the split face, it's all fluff on the block.
The reason I bring it up is I'm just wondering, is there going to be future work needed to be done on the house that could be thought of when we're thinking about this?
No, that's it. I mean,
You got it all out of there, all the stuff that's.
Well, no, we got this corner here, but at the time we took it down, this was pretty, not secure, but it wasn't in danger of falling down. This was in danger of falling down, so we went from there to here.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, is there other stuff in the future that's going to have to come out that we should think about?
Well, but yeah, just this corner.
Just that
But
one
it's
corner?
not gonna come out until we figure out what's going on with the rest of the house.
Uh-huh.
So the front corner is gonna have to come out too, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So then, are you going to stop at the corner, at the porch?
We were gonna stop at the porch, that's where we stopped on the other side.
So inside the porch is still gonna be rock face block?
Yep, but the majority of that's windows and doors. And the back of the house has an addition on it that has the same siding that's on the Railroad Ave.
You say this, the work that they did on the far side, that was done more recently and they were able to get block for it? Because is there a chance you can get the same block that's on?
No, the other side is, a shake or shingle or.
Yeah,
So
what I
it's-
suspect happened is they added that addition on the back and then sheathed the entire building in the same sheathing as the addition. So they just covered the existing rock face block with the shingle to match the addition that they put on the back. That's a guess.
Except, man, that side of the house on Railroad Ave
Uh-huh.
is wood stuck. They took the wall down just like happened to us.
And Chris, you didn't find anything in the file about that?
About, what was the question?
About the change to that
The west wall.
railroad wall?
There was, in 2012, there was an approval to do railings and to sort of repoint the brickwork, the block work. That's like a facade touch-up and handrails. That's the last thing I have.
Thank you.
Repairing damage to cracked cement wall on the front, crumbling chimney, things like that.
Okay.
So when you're done, there's going to be no more block visible?
And I will, I mean, I have no problem, I'm just tired of fix it. And if you want, just to find a split face block, we'll open the split face block. And it may not be exactly the same, but it'll all be the same, what you see. It's not gonna blend into the old cinder block, so you see a definite difference. It'll just be an all more newer concrete block with a split face.
The front porch to the right of it, the railroad corner of the front porch, is there block visible on that side?
No, man, they came right around to the other porch.
So you're saying you need to remove the block to the porch?
Yes.
And then how are you gonna blend the material you remove to the porch with the block that's inside the porch? I mean,
Well,
I'm just-
I think, I was hoping, you can't see inside the porch from outside. And it would be a transition where the wall from the porch meets the house. It would be a transition from that to whatever was inside. And you
But
can't see both of them
structurally,
at once.
it seems like you're still gonna be creating some structural issues there.
Well, it'll have a 8-foot foundation wall, solid concrete up to that height. And then if you want a mason area, it'll just go from the mason area up to the roof. it'll be the same as what's there, except I would like to be able to change which has no bearing on you, the structure, how the roof and the wall meet. But as far as outside, it'll just be blocked. And if you want the same, windows in, they put a newer windows on the outside. I've got the size of those windows. There's the house next door,
Callahan's.
yeah, they've got this, it's identical house.
And that's what made the significance of the remaining block that much more significant, that you have these two examples of little rock-faced block bungalows next to each other.
Yep. His is shot too, though, so he's gonna have to make some drastic repairs before long. Not that has any bearing on this, but he's gonna have to make a change also. This is crumbling, looks like this one was.
The wall of the porch on the inside that we don't see, the wall, like we went on the porch and we looked at the wall, what's that wall?
It's the same block, but there's not that many square foot of it. It's mostly windows and a door.
But that block's in good condition?
Yeah, it's always been
Protected.
Like I said, out of all these I've done, I've never seen one who struck me like this. They just rested the floor joists and the ceiling joists on the block. Hell, they only set them block that far. 8-inch block is set this far out. And then, like I said, the roof itself was suspended on another course block that went up through. So I've never seen anything crazy like that.
How'd they get a lip to put the floor joists on? You said there was just.
They didn't get a lift, they just cut the block out and set them in on the block as they were building it up. So they just rested them in there.
What's this material on the side? Shingles? What's this?
Yeah, it's like,
Shakes?
yeah, it's a big wooden kind of shingle. It's like, remember when they had big asphalt shingles?
Yeah.
It kind of.
I got big old shingles on my house.
It appears to look the same.
I mean, one nice thing about shingles is that they hold up to, even if you don't keep them painted, they hold up pretty well to the elements.
So the material made out of, is that like a composite
Yeah,
material?
I believe so.
So you are proposing a vinyl siding, not a shingle to match the existing?
I'm here to get what you guys want. That's it. He's given me permission to,
Well, I understand they're renting and they want to get into the house. I understand the project wants to proceed. It seems like planning for this project has been lacking from the beginning. And that's why I'm asking, is this the way the property owner wanted the fenestration when you reframed it?
he was, yes, ma'am, he was hoping that maybe we could stick some bigger windows in, because that room on that side of the house, all right? When you walk in the front door, there's a room, and there was a little wall that stuck out about halfway up. The house building's 34 feet long, halfway up, a little wall stuck out in the wall like this. Then it was open to this wall, the bedrooms are on this side of the house. Then there's another room that was a little bit bigger than the front room, and then the kitchen is in the addition. So his plan was to take that wall out, he's got 3 kids, that little narrow wall, and make the place a little bit bigger. So that the kids, had access to whatever. So that's why he was hoping if he took that wall out, that he could maybe put 2 bigger windows in so you get some light, because that's an awful lot of room for a little narrow window that's only this tall, one at either end. So he was hoping to get a little more light to make the house a little more livable. And that's the only reason. Otherwise, I'll stud the height of those windows is the same as the other. They're exactly where they were.
And where are the original windows that were taken out?
Oh, they were completely, very shot.
Again, and another, the block should have been saved, the windows should have been saved.
Well, there's the window, maybe one of them, but the ones on the other side of the house. They, and I understand one side is better than nothing, is what you're saying, but the windows were completely deteriorated. There was nothing on the glass, it was a single pane, it was ready to fall out. It was not worth saving, and the
So-
block, again, there was no saving.
Right, so this is all original building materials. So anytime anyone in the village removes original building materials, they need to come to the board
Before they remove them.
before they remove the
And
materials.
I gladly would have, but this was falling down. I wanted to control it. It wasn't, I mean, she said, yeah, you could have shortened up, it still would have fallen down, the way it was leaning. So that was totally my choice. I'm here to blame, I blame for every bit of it, but I didn't want to get hurt. And I went to the county because they're the ones that issued the structural permit and explained the situation to them. They said they don't get involved with you guys. And that is when
What are the windows, the other windows made out of?
fine. With a wooden trim border on the outside,
All of the windows are vinyl?
all of them. And all the windows in the house except that. And the one in the front window is not. In the porch.
On a different matter, what's the possibility of matching, getting a match for the shingles that are on the rest of the house?
I'm sure there will.
I mean, not that that's preferred by the board, but I'm just wondering if that's possible.
Well, it's preferred over what's proposed, but we also don't design for you,
Yeah, that's fine.
so.
Well, unless I come here and talk to you, I don't have any idea what you're gonna, be looking for. This isn't something, man, that we're here trying to plead our case because this is what we really want. What this gentleman wants is to
To move into the house, I
get into the
understand.
house and whatever it's gonna take to do that. And so he's asking for some help.
But Liz is saying that that's a problem because we can't design, so.
That's fine, but you can tell me tonight, Tom, this ain't gonna fly.
Right, so
And I'll say, okay,
the,
what will fly? And you can say, maybe these shingles, and then I'll go chase them down and bring them back and say, look, this is the shingle.
so
Yeah, you have to
the,
say-
the easiest way to get through this board is to come back with specific materials, and everything that you are planning to do is as close to the materials and layout of the original structure as it's possible to get.
Okay.
So wood windows, replacement block, if you have to match, matching whatever, like, that's the fastest way to get through this board.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm game for that, but you gotta tell me before I walk out of here tonight, you can at least point me in the right direction, so I'm not spinning my tires.
So we've
And I don't
got,
wanna come back in here next month, man, and I mean to interrupt, with the asphalt shingle or whatever the shingles are and say, oh, no, we want block. If you want block, I will bring in the block, and if that's what you like.
but it's not what we would like, it's what the law says.
That's fine, well, the law, that's your law. So
It's the village law, it's not our law.
But
We
you're the
didn't
ones
make-
that are enforcing it.
Right, we are enforcing it, but
Okay.
let's be clear. It is the village
That's
law,
fine.
modeled on the state law, modeled on the Secretary of Interior standards.
And I'm not here to fight it, I'm here to get this problem solved.
So what I just said was, if you're
And I
listening,
listen to you, that's fine.
right, we have their window guidelines posted on the website.
Yep,
You
that's
can
fine.
go there, you can read the law. If you-
I
if
don't
you'd
need
like
the
to
law,
know-
I just need to know what, bring me back to set, do you want block? Is that what you really want? You can tell me that tonight. You're the law. If this gentleman thinks block would be best, say, hey, Tom, block's right, burn it. Let's go with block. I'll start searching for block.
The best way to adhere to the law is to come back here and apply for changes that are as close to the original materials as it's possible to get. And if you wanted to not come back here a third and fourth time, come with alternate materials.
So come with, if you can get and the homeowner can afford block, but we need the profile and we need to know that it is going to match dimensionally and in appearance with the block. You can say, I can get block, but it's not going to be the same. We're not asking you to find block that's not appropriate replacement. So if you're not finding that block, come with siding or other exterior materials that we can realistically look at. What is being proposed is not going to match any of the other siding on the house.
Yep, I agree.
And so think about what does at least fit in with what already exists on the house. Show us how, if you're telling us in addition to what's already been removed, the front of the house needs to be addressed too. Show us how that fits in as well. Again, we want to see how this is all going to come together.
That's fine. Now, can I just say one thing, just to help me along? The other side of the house is done. Okay, it's not changing, it was done in 2012, 2000 whenever, long before you guys, it was done. So that now is the look. Okay, 3/4 of the house has the wooden shingles.
Are they wooden or a
Well,
composite?
whatever they are, that's what they have. Okay, now, if we put the block back up, then it's not gonna match 3/4 of the house, which was already changed. So if I come back and say, okay, we've got a window that matches, we're gonna have to go to the neighbor's house to match the windows, because that both were built at the same time, same windows. I find the window the neighbor has, that suits you, and I present to you, we skip the block, and I present to you that we're gonna side the house with what the other 3/4 of the house is. Is that something that you would weigh in and be satisfactory with?
I'm going to ask other members of the board to kind of see if they have questions or comments too, because it's not just me. There are 5 people who vote on this board.
Oh,
So-
but I'm speaking to all of it. Everybody heard.
Yeah,
Right?
it sounds
Everybody
like,
heard me, that's my only question.
it sounds like one thing that's come up is a block that very much resembles the block that was there. Whether or not you can find it or not, that's one thing that we would definitely consider. And it sounds like something that would match the existing siding, is something that we would consider. We like to have samples of
That's fine.
of it. I think that I can speak for the rest of the group that vinyl siding was not something.
Yeah, well, that's his idea. I work for him.
Gotcha.
He says, you go in, see what this is. He doesn't speak very good English. So I work for him. And that's what he wanted me to bring in. I brought it in, and that's the no, I understand.
And in terms of the lock, it would be nice to have you, if you are able to find very similar block that we would consider, it would be nice to have you be able to show its similarity to the block that was there in terms of
Dimension and
dimensions
profile.
So
Yeah, I can bring you in a block, that that's fine.
Yeah,
I'm glad to do that.
Yeah, that would help us.
I think Erie Building Materials used to have access to that block, not that we promote one
Right.
vendor or another, but as I said, I also have a rock-based block house and had to do a lot of work on it.
Yep.
So there are materials out there. It's, in a way, the damage is done. It would be ideal to see a rock-based block wall on that house. However, if the homeowner is going to propose siding and maintaining the framing you have created and not as their first proposal, replacing block with block, we really need to see the fenestration restored to that original pattern. Because 2 big picture windows on that house, not appropriate historically, okay?
I understand fully.
And also, with that little alley, you're not gonna get a lot of light either way. So beat us, if not all the way, at least part of the way, by saying, this is the way we're gonna respond to the windows, if not the block.
Sure. I'm good with that.
And the window guidelines are on one page, really straightforward, be easy to review and make sure that whatever you bring back and propose corresponds to those guidelines.
Well, I'm just check with this gentleman
Yeah.
to make sure that what we've got is,
They're all
He's got 'em.
by details.
Right. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I'll pursue the block then.
But
Okay,
you
because,
can-
because we're not, unless we do, to me, unless we do the siding that's on the other side of the house, there's no siding that'll match.
and that's what I'm saying.
So
I'm not,
let's pursue the block. Let me spend my time finding the block.
and I want to be clear, and other people can weigh in again. As ideal as it would be to have block restored to that side of the house, as one member of this board, I am willing to be presented with an option that reflects the siding that is on the rest of the house. I just want to see it planned and done well, so we are not facing even bigger mishmash of stuff. So if the block truly is not going to have the appearance of the historic block, the rest of the house is already sided in a certain way, I'm willing to look at that, but the windows have to get back to the way they
That's fine.
were.
That's
I don't
fine.
know if other people disagree with me.
I agree.
No, I think
I
That's
was,
fine, that's fine. I just want to get pointed in the right direction.
But
Two
please,
directions.
please, yeah, please plan
Yeah,
this
there's a plan A and
carefully.
plan B.
Yeah, please plan this carefully, because as you wrap around and address the block on the front again, we don't need more domino effect.
Sure. Well,
Kind of-
hopefully it should be here. Now I got one more question. All right. Damage is done, can't look much worse, but temporary is under construction. Can I go ahead and sheet it, at least so the snow don't go in there, and then we'll just take the sheathing back out, and we'll, if we decide to block, we can take our wood wall down, and we'll just replace it with block. Do I have to leave that wood wall in as we build across? Is that a disaster? I mean, would you rather see blue tarp or plastic?
I would say that you can put a, this is just my opinion, like, there's no reason why you can't screw in some zip wall as a temporary,
Yeah,
you know,
it's
I mean,
just
I wouldn't cut any openings in it.
No, I understand that, but, I mean, if we can enclose it so there's no
Yeah.
further damage inside the house.
And remember, the fenestration has got to go back to that original fenestration.
That's fine.
Unless other people on this board disagree,
I have-
I think.
I just have one comment, right? So this building, before you touched this building, it had 3 sides that were the same and 1 side that was different. So if we're still, you know, one solution is to have 3 sides that are the same and 1 side that is different. And if the block doesn't work, you may find that there's a block that, you know, we can't get one to match. It's too expensive. They're not available. I don't know, lots of reasons. You could have you know, the one different side can be something appropriate to the construction of the building, which is around in the 1920s, right? So, you know, a clapboard, you know, there's lots of sheathing options for buildings in the 1920s.
And this is where we don't design for you, but
Sure, no,
thinking about what's
I totally
appropriate.
understand. But, you know, this is not first off, it's not a house that they're gonna live in forever, you know? And second off, it ain't much of a house.
Oh, but
I mean,
it
if
is.
you cut to the chase, it's not. You know, it's a little itty bitty bungalow that's tiny. And, like I said, these guys just wanna get in and they'll just wanna do whatever it may be.
I mean, I think we take a very different approach, that every surviving structure in this village is worth continuing to nurture. And whether it's
I agree.
small, whether it's modest,
I
it
agree with you.
still has a twin. No, they're not so much twins. It's still on Main Street in a prominent location. And, you know, it may not be their forever home, but our goal is to have it remain a structure with character in the village of Cooperstown long beyond the time any of us come to this room.
I agree.
So,
My goal is to do what you want, so that he's happy, and if it's structurally sound, because that's what I'm getting paid for, and that we can continue this project. That's the only thing
We tend to be pretty specific about everything, any trim that's gonna be needed to.
for the windows, for the.
Windows or between the roof line and the building, that we wanna know basically exactly how it'll look and the pictures and dimensions.
See, there's none of the rest of the windows on the house were anything close to this. None of the rest of the windows, but the neighbors is identical. And I'll just take, and the houses are mirror images of each other. I'll take a picture for you of the neighbor's house, the same wall.
But we need to know what product you're gonna use.
Sure,
We need
no,
to
no.
know that.
No, but I'll take care of it. That way you'll see
It's-
that this is what it looks like and this is what I'm
Yeah,
presenting.
that's a great idea.
And it looks
that.
like it.
It's a
And,
great
you know,
idea.
so you don't have any questions, you'll know that the neighbor's house is identical. All right, now, cuts to the chase.
And also, if you find that since we don't really know what those shingles are made of, if you do have, if there is a wood, shingle that matches as opposed to a composite, it might be interesting to know if that is an option.
We will, you can bring us different options to consider. It's not like a yes or no, black or white, but you have to work with the property owner to decide what you're gonna present. We can't design it for you, okay?
I totally understand that.
We can,
But you do have the ultimate yes or no.
right, what we can do is approve or decline what you present to us.
Right.
We can't approve something that you have not presented.
Fully understand. So that's all we're here for, tonight, guidance.
Okay, have you gotten enough?
Good
Okay.
night.
Have a good night.
Please
Night.
speak to Chris if there's anything else, and
Yes.
the next meeting is in 3 weeks. We were a little
Okay.
compressed this
I'll
time.
get on that. And I'm gonna go ahead, I didn't have board foundation, but I'm gonna board foundation, so that's done.
Great.
All right, so we're all.
All right.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night, thank you.
Nice.
So Elias, you have a lot to take back to PIG.
We're not even done. We still have to approve minutes from previous meetings.
And talk about the zoning application, but, you know, we can give you that if you don't want to stick around any longer. So anyway, really briefly, I know I got some feedback from Gib on this. And was everybody able to look at the, this is the application that the chairs of the village boards have worked very closely with Cindy and the mayor to, and Chris, I should say. Chris gets a ton of credit in this process to revise the application process to make sure there are components of the zoning application that more clearly suit each board's needs, not to have the broad application that is very generic and nobody's getting the information they need from it. So there's a draft of a new application that includes a section, Chris, feel free to jump in, that relates to each board. So Chris can
Right.
point people in the right direction, or the new zoning enforcement officer can point people in the right direction.
Yes. This is basically in response to the backside of our application that people don't really use. It's supposed to be a helpful informational thing. And so we decided instead that each board would make their own informational sheet. So someone doing a fence gets a sheet that's not full of stuff that has to do with site development plan. So this is what we came up with. I really like it. And I really did like it until I saw what I think is a glaring error, which I didn't see, which is all Marcia's eagle eye. But the second paragraph, prior to the commencement of any work, there's no reason why it shouldn't be just stricken from the document. It's just totally repetitive. It opens with, you must first obtain a certificate of appropriateness for the village, and then the second paragraph says, you must obtain a,
Well, apparently some people might need.
I
I think saying it twice is a good idea.
I mean,
I think it is.
you like it double like that?
Yes. Yep.
Mm.
Well,
Okay.
that's-
You could say it even more times than that, actually.
Really? I don't know. I hear you that we want to emphasize it, but sometimes just having more of the same thing, it gets
I mean,
lost in
you
the
could
clutter
add a
more, right?
transition. You could say therefore, comma, prior to the commencement of any work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the sentence about not scheduling or ordering materials, I think, is not redundant and is an important point of emphasis.
And it is maybe somewhat reactionary to the once bitten, twice shy kind of approach to articulating over and over. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I like to edit things down to the bare minimum number of words. But here it is kind of,
To be clear, I wasn't saying get rid of the sentence about do not order materials.
No, but
That is not duplicative, but the sentence before it is almost exactly verbatim what the first sentence says. And it's
right.
just stylistically kind of,
I think,
I hear you.
as a
Fine.
person who writes policies for a living, I think saying it more than one time is an excellent way to go.
But these comments will go back to the village chair's little kind of working group. And we'll talk
Right.
about, does it need a little bit more wordsmithing without taking away the effort to remind people to obtain a certificate of appropriateness before they do the work.
I have one.
Sure.
I have one comment. When there are serial lists and policies, like including alterations, restorations, new construction, blah, 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 it's a good idea to indicate whether that is such as the following things,
Mhm.
or including but not limited to.
Okay.
Because if you don't say that, it's implied that this is a conclusive list.
Right.
And that there are no things that fall outside of this list.
Okay.
It does say are among the exterior changes that must be reviewed. I guess that's the part you're talking about.
As far
Bonnie's
as,
the lawyer here. I'm not the lawyer, but that's.
as far as the repetition goes, I definitely hear the validity of both sides of the argument. But perhaps the repetition could be, or the part that's repeated could just be shrunken down to a few words in boldface, do not start any work.
Mhm.
Because if they want to
Yeah.
order their supplies, that's
Right.
fine, as far as I'm concerned. Go ahead and order them, but you may not be able to use them. I mean, I think that's the but. I mean, sorry to be mean, but
My other suggestion here is to indicate either require that the applicant initial after items 1 through 7, or acknowledge that they have included the following, or that they, or somehow put it on the applicant that if they have determined that item 5 doesn't apply to their project, that's their choice.
And that might be kind of, there is the zoning application has more of a checklist like that, right, Chris? The one for Jean's?
For the planning board. I
Oh,
mean,
sorry,
Yeah,
planning board.
but that process, the site development plan process, just is of the nature of something. It has a billion little parts, so a checklist is totally appropriate there.
You can have some kind of statement above the signature.
I think something that explains, but because I hear what you're saying. The idea is that when they sign it, they're saying, I have seen this and I agree to it. Maybe it should be more explicit, like by signing this, why are they signing it? I don't know. They're signing it, it should be clear that they have.
Like, I acknowledge that I have included these materials in my application, or to the best of my ability have, included the requirements or something.
Yeah.
I think Eric's correct that by requiring a signature saying that you filled out all the parts or explain why you didn't need it, that there's probably more compliance when people put their John Hancock on there.
And Bonnie, in your legal mind, does that kind of do it?
I like the idea of saying that I understand the above mentioned requirements and have complied with each of them unless otherwise stated
Mhm.
below. You know, so that you give people an out if there's some legitimate reason.
Okay.
Right, if they want to put NA next to something, that's fine.
Right.
Right, but they're doing that.
But it would be kind of nice if they said NA, you know, I mean, why they putting NA? I mean, sometimes it'll be totally obvious and it should be short for them to do, but if someone, I think we may run into times when somebody puts NA and it wasn't an NA.
Right. Yes, I agree. I almost not let them off the hook.
Right.
If they come up with, well, I didn't do, if they write at the bottom or say to Chris, I didn't do this one because it was totally inapplicable to my situation,
Right.
Mhm.
then that's,
Yeah.
but don't give them that out or else they'll
I'll just say
use it.
NA. And we'll be looking at it going, but,
Right.
so we at least want to understand why they're saying NA. Okay.
Right, that they have to take the initiative to come up with NA. And I like Erin's comment about in the first two lines of, and I haven't quite come up with a suggested wording, but again, that might not have to be done right this minute. But saying such as, but not limited to.
Mhm.
But then a good comment came up saying that there are certain things where it's absolutely required. So I don't know, those are 2 points,
Right.
2 different points, and they may both be valid and then be included.
I had another thing that I wanted to mention, a little slightly off topic, but maybe connected to it. At some point, somebody suggested that there be a sample of a really good application.
Mhm.
And that sample of really good application could have some of the fine points that we've mentioned, such as someone saying, you know, this doesn't apply because of this, or some other of these variations of how things go down. I forget what the last one you mentioned, but it seems that on some of these on ones that were absolutely necessary. Actually skip that, but I think that might be something that we would consider as having a very good application that might highlight some of the variations that people might encounter or that people might take advantage of when they're filling out an application.
So some examples of realistic, because sometimes we get, the really well-done packages, and that's not realistic for most people.
Mhm.
But what are we getting from Joe Schmo that's, at least, maybe they did it by hand, they didn't know how to do CAD, they didn't have an architect.
Yeah.
But they tried, they showed us some good information in a very kind of simple way. So, okay, so maybe we can.
Yeah, no, I think
like
I think there's a lot we could do to present the public with clearer information about this process. That would be great. I also think our website needs to be easier to navigate to get to these things, but maybe we save it for another
We're
meeting.
working on all of it,
Yeah,
slowly but
but I
surely.
hear you. There's lots of
Yeah.
lots of room for improvement.
If people are looking at this and thinking, I should have said this or that, I mean,
Let's pass them along.
yes, we're meeting again, I think, around the 8th, but I'm guessing at that. I'll tell you I'll look it up while we're reviewing the minutes. But, so we do have a couple of weeks until we meet again. And so if you're mulling it over, or something comes to you, please share. Because we do want to, really take the feedback of each of the boards into account. We're meeting on the 8th, so.
And have 5 or 6.
Oh, no,
Oh, no.
this zoning chairs group is
I see
meeting,
your meeting.
yes, is meeting, and then we actually meet the next day
Okay.
at 5.
Okay.
So we're gonna go back to our normal schedule, the second Tuesday at 5 PM. This was just a fluke
Yeah.
because of Veterans Day. So not to create any confusion, but the day before is when the zoning chairs meet again to walk through these comments. So anything you have to share before then, take it home, give it some thought, walk down the street and say, We should have said that. We're open to it, okay?
Chris, what were you saying about that, there was at some point, there was thought about having, separate instructions for doing a fence as opposed to a.
It's not that kind of granular. We're not giving instructions for everything. It's just, before there was one sheet for every application, and now at least it's broken down by board. So if you're going to HBARB, you get this. You're not confronted with, like you normally would be, information about site development plans, which happen so rarely.
Right.
And why give them all that information and exhaust them?
But if,
before?
I mean, it sounds like a lot of work and maybe it would be too confusing, but if it wasn't too much work and wouldn't be too confusing, that having it more granular for someone saying, I want to put up a fence, well, what do I need? Oh, here's an example of what you need for a fence, or
Mhm.
just spitballing here.
I hear you.
Well, yeah, and we can kind of,
That, just so you know, the magic behind the scenes is that I tend to have that kind of sort of templatized in emails. And I will cut and paste. I don't want the public to know who's watching my handwritten
Yeah.
messages to them are actually cut and pasted. I'm sorry. Now they all know. Thanks, Bernie. But
and that is kind of
but no, yeah, it's
that gray area
don't-
between
yeah.
us and Chris and what we see and the work he does, which is to really walk most applicants through this by giving them, listening to what they're doing, and then giving them some step-by-step
Mhm.
feedback. So
yeah.
their applications can be ready. Whether all that feedback gets heard and followed through on is kind of, and how many times he has to kind of nudge it, the bigger challenge, right, Chris?
Yeah, I will. When I retire soon, I'll write my memoir for all of you, and we can.
And then this one day,
Mhm.
this person,
One of my proudest applicants was,
Yeah.
The Chris DeVille Award for the finest application
Right.
goes to.
and his development of it, the back and forth and the.
I'm happy to have a legacy of a prize in my name. Sure.
So, and as people are thinking about these things, if you're thinking about things that you're seeing happening that we aren't responding to or catching, for example, we're working on noise related to heat pumps and things like that now. So please bring any of those things to the meeting to talk about, so the zoning chairs can continue to kind of think about things that are kind of not addressed clearly in any of the laws as we kind of continue to plod along with this too. So,
You have a typo, you can correct. Under the items not required, you've got plumbing vent pipes rather than plumbing vent pipes.
plumbing.
One thing I did notice on a walk through town the other day was heat pump condensation in winter.
Mm.
That's like a water and ice buildup situation.
Okay, great.
Like
that is a good
all
point.
those heat pumps that we just approved for the back of the Main Street buildings into Pioneer Alley, like where is that condensation going to go? It's going to create a new skating rink for the village.
It's the Saturday morning market skating.
Yes, Saturday morning skating. You can skate to get your potatoes.
Free ice.
Uh-huh, free ice.
I found that it mainly does stay pretty much directly below the condenser, but I guess in some cases it might
When
not.
it condenses right into the alley though, that's right below the condenser.
Yeah.
The alley is below the condenser.
Okay, good point.
And you probably should, in number 2, take the period off the end of number 2. And whether you, because that's the only one.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
Sometimes at the end of number 6, you could say comma and, so
Mhm.
that it appears cumulative.
Right.
Okay,
Like it's not pick and choose,
Mhm.
whichever ones you would
okay,
like,
thank you.
and whether you do want to. put
Actually, I would
period
say shall include all of the following.
in. Look at, yes, that's good. We will address it.
Mhm.
Thank you. This is all very
I would also
helpful.
even say must include. Must include? I don't know. I don't like the word shall, but
Well, we use must in the end of a prior paragraph, and so it's a consistency.
Mhm. Great,
Mhm.
got it. Thank you.
I understand that I can ask questions about this
I love it. Can I keep
by
this?
calling, or yeah, that's why I wrote it,
Thank you.
and like nudged it over to you.
I got the other nudges. I missed that nudge. Thanks, everybody. This is great. And really, anything else you think of, pass along. We finally have some minutes to approve. On me, sorry. Okay, the composition of the July meeting. Does anybody remember who was here in July? These are the folks who can vote on the approval of the July minutes if you've had hopefully time to review them. Liz, David, Aaron, and Gib are able to vote on the approval of the July minutes. Would anybody like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the July HPAR meeting?
I just have one question. As I was looking at it, I saw there was an office building at One Beaver. I was trying to figure out what that was. That's Harrison
the
House.
same-
And then I realized we usually just have the street address. We don't name buildings
Right.
if it's a business or something.
Because
So I didn't know whether to, we should, include demolish Harrison House, a residential office building.
That's a good point, Dave. Thank you. Because,
that was the same thing I flagged. I didn't know what a residential office building was in this context. It also was confused me, so.
okay, so we refer to it as 1 Beaver Street, so we have the address.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it in the motion? Is that where that?
Chris.
What page are we on that you see this?
So is it at the in the middle of the first page where there's the public hearing for One Beaver Street application to demolish a residential office building.
Yeah,
I saw this.
that was my bad choice of words. I recognize. I think when I sent out the public hearing notice, I have to write a short tweet length blurb, and it's in a residential district,
Right.
but it's an office. I didn't want to say. I was trying to get in both the sense that, hey, this is in a residential zone,
Yeah,
but it's not a residence, and so
figured that was why it was.
glued those things together, went on my way.
Residential area.
So
But yeah, it is
Harrison
unclear.
House, how about an application to demolish Harrison House currently, which has been converted into an office building?
Yeah, something like that.
Does that make sense?
A residence previously converted into an office building?
Mhm.
Because it was being used as offices prior to its demolition.
So application to demolish Harrison House, a residence which has been converted or which was converted, simplify it, into an office building, or which was used most recently used as an office building?
Adaptively
I think it can
reused
be
as
simple.
an office
A
building.
residence which has been converted to an office building.
Okay. Application to demolish Harrison House, a residence which
Had been converted.
had been converted into an office building. Okay. Application to demolish Harrison House, a residence which had been converted into an office building. You got
Or
that?
just offices.
Offices, right, offices. Uh-huh. Okay. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Okay. Any other changes to the July minutes? Okay. So Liz, David, Aaron, and Gib. Liz votes yes.
Aaron, yes.
David,
Oh,
yes.
we need a motion.
Motion to
Sorry, it's
approve the
getting late.
minutes as amended.
Thank you, Aaron.
Second.
Thank you, David. Liz votes yes.
David, yes.
Aaron, yes.
Awesome. Now, August, the following were present and able to vote. Myself, David, Bernie, Aaron, and Gib. So has everybody had a chance to review the August minutes?
Yes.
Anybody have any comments or questions related to the August minutes before we ask for a motion to approve them? Okay. May I have a motion to approve the minutes from the August Historic Preservation Board meeting?
So moved.
Awesome. I think David spoke first.
Okay, I'll second.
Aaron,
I'll second.
thank you. Okay. Any discussion? Liz votes yes?
David, yes.
Aaron, yes.
Give yes.
Bernie, yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Now to the September minutes. Liz, David, Bernie, Aaron, Gib. All right.
Motion to,
I'll say,
Oh,
has
sorry.
everybody had a chance to review them?
yes.
Okay. Any changes or concerns? Okay, Aaron, you're on.
Motion to approve the minutes from the September meeting.
Hey, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Take your pick, Marcia. Okay. Liz votes yes.
Aaron, yes.
David, yes.
Give yes.
Okay, wonderful. Now we have the October minutes. Liz, Bernie, Aaron, Gib, and Bonnie.
But not David.
As my father would say, another party heard from.
Nothing wrong.
Okay,
Uh-oh.
so does anybody have any changes or concerns about the October minutes, and has everybody had a chance to review them? Okay, do we have a motion to approve the October minutes? Liz, Bernie, Aaron, Gib, and Bonnie.
So moved.
Okay, any discussion? Liz votes yes.
Aaron, yes.
Bonnie, yes.
Give yes.
Bernie, yes.
We have done a good job tonight, folks.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you all for hanging in there on that last application and working through it with them. Okay. You have the Harrison House stuff, so you don't need it. You got that, right?
I got that.
Okay.
And I wonder,